Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Tonight, King Z and I are going to do The Rocketeer for our second installment in Retro Watch. Dude, so I think we picked a banger to do rewatch this time. We didn't go quite as far back as Jaws on our 50th anniversary in that first episode that we just did in the 50th anniversary there. Lost Boys is a few years before this, The Rocketeer. I also think The Rocketeer is 91. So we're out of the 80s
91.
altogether, right?
Yep.
Cool, but I think this is a good one to do. It feels like a summertime movie. I don't remember what month this came out way back when in 91, but it felt like a summer movie to me because it's all adventure-y. The music's all upbeat. The action's all very brightly lit during the day, except for except when we get to the end. But I feel like this is a movie that a lot of people don't really talk about. People seem not to remember this film. I wanted to get your vibe on that first. Like, what do you remember about The Rocketeer? Is this something you fondly remember, or is this something you had to rewatch because you completely forgot about?
I forgot most of it. All I remembered from this movie was, of course, the helmet, the rocket,
iconic look,
and then where he's cocking the gun in front of the American red flag.
Yes,
American flag. That was
the ultimate hero shot, dude.
As I was watching it, more was coming back to me because, to tell you the truth, I've only ever seen this movie once before.
Oh, get out of here. Okay. Yep. I figured knowing
and that was
this
in
might have
91.
been something. I figured this might have been something you popped in with from time to time, like Last Crusade or something like that.
I've only ever seen this movie once.
So coming back to it then 40 odd years later or whatever it's been, what did you think? Does it hold up? Does it not hold up? I don't even mean effects wise. Like, I mean, story wise.
No,
what do you think?
So I was going to go with all of them. Like, the story plays well. I think the dialogue's a little cheesy, but I think that's what they were going for. So I think, I think this was how would I put it? I put it like it's a superhero movie for kids.
For sure, for sure. It has the whole superhero arc. It's got the whole arc in it.
Yep, and it was based off a graphic novel before graphic novels were really considered serious. A lot of people didn't make them serious either.
Yep.
So it kind of fell into that. I think the CGI actually holds up for the time and age to today. If you see some of the stuff, it definitely did better than what was that one? Secret Invasion. Definitely did better than their CGI and Quantumania CGI.
And that makes sense because you know who did the CGI for this, right? Did you happen to do any digging?
Is it ILM?
You got it. You're damn right. It was ILM.
Because they were the real players back in the day. There wasn't all these CGI studios back in the day. And then back then, CGI plus motion graphics fell under the same studio. So it wasn't, you didn't have to do like a different studio that just does motion graphics and or one studio that does just CGI. It was all wrapped up into the same place. And I think for what they did, it was great. There are a lot of like modern plot holes in this. More contrivances.
Mostly, right.
Like physics is kind of just thrown right out the window.
So you got to suspend some of that disbelief. It's not as bad as Fire in Space. You know what I mean? But if you're talking about a dude with the jetpack, you got to make some allowances. Like you said, it's a superhero story. You know, we got the plucky upstart, heart of gold, kind of bumbling hero. He doesn't always know what to do, but he always tries to do the right thing. You know, and that counts a lot for me. You can get a lot of mileage out of that setup for me.
And one of the best things is the one time he tried to be selfish, it failed miserably for him. And it started the whole bowler rolling down the hill towards all the people he loved.
Yep. Exactly right. I think I had that chalked up as a little star note on my pad over here. I said, you know, he does have a little bit of Riri in him because he didn't want to give the jetpack back to its rightful owner, Howard Hughes. And I'm like, okay, but then he goes ahead and does the right thing by a lot of people by keeping it and, you know, not to benefit himself. Like he uses it to like save his girlfriend and then he gives it back or it gets blown up. You know, he gets, he saves the day kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which was nice, dude. So I like the vibe of all that. I do like that it's a period piece. You know, it's like, I think the movie kind of, it title frames or whatever you call it, subtitles out. I think it was 1938, I think, because we're on the way to World War II.
Superman came out.
Oh, that's right. A good call. Hey, about that, now we won't even get into Superman right now because I said I'm not going to say anything. I like the music in this movie a lot. You know, I'm a sucker for theme songs. I'm a sucker for like the score in a movie. Did you catch who scored this one?
No, I didn't, but I'm going to go with Mr. John Williams.
Close. The other guy, James
Hans
Horner.
Oh,
the other guy. Okay, the other guy. Yeah, no, So, you're talking about a dude that did like Titanic, Zorro,
Mm,
Willow, Beautiful Mind, parts of Braveheart. What else I got? This is Field of Dreams.
mm,
I know you love
mm,
Avatar, Land Before Time. It's it's top shelf, and it counts. That theme kicks in at the beginning, and like I love that it's like they give you that the first little kick of the credits, like directed by or produced by or whatever.
mhm,
But then it's the guys pushing the hangar doors open, and the camera tracks out of the dark hangar out onto the airfield into the sun. And the
mhm.
music when that theme hits, it's like it did that music to me reminds me of Saving Private Ryan. Like I get Private Ryan vibes all day long with the kind of fanfare that's in the building in the background and things. It's all very upbeat. I love it. I'm in an upbeat mood lately with my media, and this helped. This was
I would
another
say it's
log on that
definitely
fire.
upbeat. It definitely catches that period vibe
Hmm.
that they're going for. You have the early Nazi movement at the time.
Hmm.
It wasn't really the evil Nazis at the time, even though they were doing evil
No,
stuff at the time. They were
they were
just
well on their
unknown
way
at
in
the
'38,
time.
right?
But
Yeah, for sure.
even when they talked about like the Lindenberg, which was a Hindenburg knockoff,
Right.
uh, it was the blimp of peace to do
Oh,
world peace to
the
do
blimp was called the Luxembourg. It was the
Luxembourg.
Luxembourg, right?
Yeah,
The
okay.
statue that they tested the jetpack on, that was Charles Lindbergh, though.
Yeah.
If you didn't pick up on that, that's like a little bit of trivia cut. Um, yeah, it's got a lot of fun action set pieces to it. The beginning and the end are both very strong. For set pieces, they don't waste it all on one side of the movie or the other. They always give you something interesting visually to work with. Whether it's Cliff working through how to actually fly the damn thing, or it's him at the end mostly having it together. Because I would say he never really becomes an expert. Like this whole movie takes place over like 18 hours. Like it's not like he had
Yeah.
this thing for like nine years and he became like a professional. Like he just kind of like learned on the fly. But like there's always something interesting to look at, whether it's him falling off the biplane or him using the jetpack, around the blimp later. Not the blimp, yeah, the Zeppelin. You know what I mean? To save the day or not save the day, depending. You get the hero shot, like we mentioned. We got
Yeah.
feds, but not we got feds fighting alongside the mob to defeat the Nazis. Always great stuff. I love Paul Sorvino. He played the lead mobster. I
I
love that
mean,
guy. Great
yeah,
character actor.
Savino. It has a lot of great one. Alan
It did.
Arkin,
Yep.
Timothy Dalton, Jennifer
Yep.
Connelly, and of
Yep.
course Billy Campbell playing the lead role of
Don't forget guys
the Rocketeer.
like Terry O'Quinn played Howard Hughes. One of the
Yeah.
feds at the beginning, the one that Cliff punches in the mouth. I can't remember that gentleman's name, but he's a mega popular character actor from like the 70s, 80s, 90s. That dude was everywhere.
So the big brute, do you know his name? Real
No,
name.
and I no, and I'm like that. I just call him Dick Tracy because he looks like a character from that Dick Tracy movie.
And
Warren
he
Beatty
did.
was
He
in.
was in Dick Tracy.
I knew it. I knew it. I just couldn't lock it into place who he played.
His name is Tiny Ron Taylor.
Of course it is. Of course it is because he's 6'5", 265, and could smother you with one hand.
Yeah.
Only in this movie, dude, he was breaking dudes in this movie. I don't remember
Breaking
that.
people in half.
don't remember that. That was kind of funny when they find the airstrip owner's body in his office and like there's just a boot next to his head. I'm like, that's a pretty clever
Yeah.
way of indicating what he did. Pretty good because we had already
Yeah,
seen
I
him
was
mess up that dude in the hotel in the hospital.
I,
Man,
I did thought it was weird seeing Terry Quinn. Like, I know him as John Lott from
yeah,
Lost.
from Lost. Yeah.
Yeah, but with him with hair, he looks so
Oh
much thicker
yeah.
with hair.
Yeah, that's right. Because that's from going forward from like the '90s onward. He was just Locke with no hair. That's right.
Yeah.
He was shiny. He was a shiny dude.
He plays a great character in I forgot the name of the movie. It's a new faith-based one, but he plays the father of the dad who is the father of a famous Christian singer, something
I
St.
don't.
John. Oh, Rebecca
I
St.
don't know.
John.
What did you think of Timothy Dalton in this one? That's
I
Neville
think he played
Sinclair.
it. I think he overplayed the part, which he was supposed to. He was that
Yeah,
over the top actor. Yeah.
smarmy a-hole.
And I love the part where he's there and they're alone in his house. He's already kidnapped Jennifer
Jenny.
Connelly's character.
Yeah,
And
Jenny,
he's there and
ironically.
yeah, and he's trying to feed her lines and she's like telling him what movie it's from that he's doing.
Yeah, that was good stuff. Dude,
Yeah.
Jenny's a good character in this movie. She obviously Jennifer Connelly's obviously very talented. She's very, very beautiful, obviously.
She has that
Jennifer Connelly.
classic
She
30s,
does.
40s look.
She totally does. That she can be attractive without being like a pinup for the time. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like you put her in the white evening gown and you just drool. because she's that good looking. But she had some bite to her. She wasn't afraid to smash a dude with a vase in like 4 different scenes in this
Yeah,
movie.
and jump back into the bush.
Right. That's good stuff. Now we could blame her for almost killing everybody on account of she fired the flare gun
Yeah.
in the Zeppelin's cockpit at the end. Might have had some repercussions. We're gonna let her slide because she was just doing the best she could. Cliff was getting his ass kicked. And
Yeah.
Neville Sinclair was kicking his ass. Like, let's not
Yeah.
pretend he wasn't throwing him around. You know, that was a great line.
I do my own
I
stunts.
do my own stunts. He's like, "Where's your stuntman now, Sinclair?" And he's like, "Slap!" I do my own stunts. I'm like, "Oh, I don't remember that, but that was good. I like that part."
Yeah, he was the cheesy actor that all the women loved and all the guys despised.
As evidenced by the conversation in the diner
But
later on.
yeah,
Like, where do you get the champagne from? I don't know. We didn't have that on the front line. That
yeah,
was good stuff. It was like my, you know what it was? That was 80 years ago. Nerds talking about movies before the internet. Like,
yeah,
where do you get the champagne from on the front lines in a fighter jet,
yeah.
bro?
But just like Barstool Sports,
Yeah,
Barstool movie stuff is gone out the
Barstool movie
window.
review.
It's all on the internet now. So
Yeah, that's true.
everybody's an expert. Everybody's a professional.
We're neither. So if you guys want to hit the like button and maybe subscribe to our non-expert, non-professional opinions, that'd be fantastic. I forgot to mention that early on. But this is exactly the kind of movie that I want to cover more of on the retro watch, because I think we're going to find 2 trends in particular, and I want to get your takes separately on these kind of phenomenon as they apply first to the Rocketeer. Number 1, simple stories that don't involve the world burning with the giant blue space laser. This is a story about one guy who gets caught up in one really wild situation. It could have long-term weirdo effects, like if the Nazis had the whole flight wings of rocket troops, like in the little animated
Mm.
propaganda film, which was hilarious. I love that part. So it's a self-contained story with a small main cast, and it isn't the space and tearing space time. Here comes the invasion. The world ends. Just one dude doing the one thing.
Mhm.
Why don't we do movies like that anymore, dude? Like, why does everything have to be Quantum Mania? Why?
Because I would say people believe that people don't have the attention span for simple stories anymore. They would need
Ugh.
complexity.
Dude, that hurts in so many oxymoronic ways, doesn't it? Doesn't that just
Mm,
sound wrong? Like, your attention span's
mhm.
shorter, so you need a more complicated movie. Like,
Yet
dude, chill the
movies
F
are
out.
going longer to
Right?
what was that? That was an hour and
Yeah.
46 minutes.
Yep. Which transitions nicely into my next point is we do a lot of, even before we were doing retro watch the playlist, we watch a lot of old stuff. We watch a lot of old horror movies. We talk a lot of old fantasy like Willow and Legend. We talk a lot of old sci-fi. Old action movies like this, I feel they get the same professional treatment though. You get that pace of an hour 45 to 2 hours tops. Everything's efficient. I say that every time I feel like we watch something. It's like, I'm never bored because the story's always moving forward. There's no side quest, there's no wasted time. Every character has a point. Like, and my example in this movie is the guy that kind of blows up Cliff's spot in the diner that he had crashed the plane, right? You're like, oh, this guy, he blew up Cliff's spot. It's a one-off line. But then that's the guy that like tries to save Cliff's job by going up in the biplane as the clown. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
like he had a point for being there. You know what I mean? And like I feel like movies now, they just add things to pad runtime to 2.5 hours, and then none of it counts for anything. Like there is no follow-up, there's no follow-through, there's no closing of any kind of loops, man. I think the pacing thing is a big problem for movies these days. Big.
So they and like in modern screenwriting classes, they always talked about you have to have your A plot and then you have to have your B plot, sometimes a C plot, and then
Right.
you have to introduce your B plot main person at this certain
Mhm.
time and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Back then, the A and B plot kind of ran side by side because, like, if you
Mhm.
watch this one, the main plot is, of course, the Rocketeer finding the rocket, finding out that it was
Yep.
stolen, him using it for good, and then giving it back or destroying it in this case, uh,
He tried to give it back. He was
at
gonna
the
give
end.
it back.
But the B plot was Jennifer Connelly's character, Jenny, trying to become an actress
Mhm.
and like how her life kind of got intertwined and all that. That's your B plot. Now, including the rocky relationship, yet useful relationship between Neville Sinclair and the mob, which then turned around for him when they found out that he's a Nazi spy.
Yeah. That was a great line. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. The Paul
May
Sorvino,
not make an
Paul
honest
Sorvino.
buck, but I'm 100% American, and I don't work for no Nazi scum.
No 2-bit Nazi thug or scum or whatever he said. That whole sequence was great. I love that. You're right though. I mean, it's like they dedicate and they proportionally dedicate the time to the right things. This is Cliff's movie. This isn't an ensemble movie where like we're jumping back and forth with equal time spent to all those different plot arcs. Like we get the Rocketeer doing Rocketeer shit. We get Jennifer Connelly's backstory. You know, she's an aspiring actress trying to get out of like being an extra and land a bigger role. And it even causes conflict between her and Cliff. Where he's like, you missed me flying at regionals because you were standing behind famous actress with a bowl of grapes. And she's like,
downplays her career.
Right. But then we also, like Neville Sinclair is the villain, has an arc. He's paying the mob to steal the rocket so he can get it back to his German handlers. It's like we do have all these balls up in the air that they juggle, but I feel like they juggle them so efficiently by focusing on the most, like they tier out where we're supposed to spend that time and then they do it effectively. So I never feel like
they tie it together.
Right. Because of course Neville Sinclair catches eyes for her, figures out that she's Secord's girlfriend. They don't know who that is yet. They just know the name. And then of course it all ties back into the mob FBI stuff at the end with the resolution. But I'll go even a step further. They even hint about like when the Zeppelin comes in at the end with the Nazi troops. That's not by surprise. They told us at the beginning that the effing Zeppelin was starting its America World Peace Tour.
And they did it by the propaganda film that they used to run before movies.
That they watch in the movie, right? So when it shows up at the end, I'm like, well, that explains how, 30-odd German troopers appeared in the mainland. Like, that's how. They were obviously there. It's not just like Deus Ex, like, Neville Sinclair needed 30 guys with, MP40s to show up and like turn the table. Like, no, dude, this was already told you this was coming. They even played up the bit with the bubble gum in like 5 different places before it comes back to bite Neville Sinclair in the ass when Cliff just thumbs it halfway off the hole in the gas tank on the jetpack. So they were clever about their time, and I feel like a lot of those small details they're just missing from like almost everything I watch, and it makes me kind of sad. It really does. I really wish there was more to it than that.
The singer at the club. Remember the singer comes out of the shell?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's Jan Livingston from The Office.
Melora Hardin?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yep.
Didn't recognize, and I watched that scene. I was fast forwarding in clips some of the down scenes that I remembered well enough. I watched that scene. I just didn't put 2 and 2 together. Dude, I think we've said all I'm going to say on The Rocketeer anyway. You any closing thoughts? You want to give people a thumbs up, thumbs down, go, no go, however you want to do it, dude. Wrap it up.
So I think The Rocketeer does hold up the test of time. Like I said, this is the second time I've watched it. Now that I'm a little bit older, I understand a little bit more of what was going on. I do say that the CGI does hold up. The acting is on purpose like this. Same with the dialogue to fit the time and to be OG Dow Willeters type dialogue.
Yeah, it is.
So it's definitely worth the watch. It's a safe movie to watch with all your kids. So I would go ahead like a Saturday night, you get the kids together, pop some popcorn, and go watch some Rocketeer.
I gotta co-opt everything he just said and steal it for myself. He's 100% right. Totally worth the rewatch. It's a nice, tightly written story, well-paced, fun stuff to watch as people kind of bumble around in jetpacks. That'll never not be interesting to me. I love that kind of stuff. If you're into movie themes and scores, like I mentioned earlier in the video, there's a lot of good uplifting music that goes down in different places around the action scenes. And then they use that inverse technique where they take the main theme, they make it sad when they hit like that Dark Night of the Soul scene. So there's a lot of good stuff here to go check out, guys. Lots of character actors you'll recognize from other stuff, and it'll be like you're saying hello to old friends. So I'm going to give a Winter Wolf approves on The Rocketeer also. So if you want more of the retro watch, let us know in the comments below. Make your suggestions for what you'd like us to do on that playlist. We're tinkering with rules for that list. Like maybe we're not going to go back to the 80s anymore. Like we might keep it 90s onward. But please, if there's something you'd like a retro on, let us know. We could probably work it into our schedule. And I leave it to King Z for the profound goodbye as always.
Well, up and away.
Wrong guy.